I'm Brittany Brown with KPCRadio.com, and you're listening to Game Over, a look inside the gamer's mind. And I'm here with Chris Okamura. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I was wondering, how exactly did you get into the gaming community?
I remember all the early game, like the early 2000s, were all about WCG for World Cyber Games. That recently just closed down. So yeah, that was like the big event. It was like the Olympics for esports that everyone tried to compete for. And I remember qualifying for that, the North American qualifiers, and trying to get through that, and going to Worlds eventually, and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, that was sort of how my introduction of it.
I know you had your own show here at KPC Radio. It was around 2012.
I did.
You got heavily involved in the esports community after that, and now you go on...
During, actually.
During?
I was, so that was right when I got back from working for MLG and IPL. So I had worked for MLG in the New York offices and got a chance to do that, going over there, and I guess, being really young, I just didn't enjoy working for MLG. Then I ended up working for IPL directly after that, not even 6 months before. I think I got bought out by IPL and moved to San Francisco, and then eventually got back here to work for IPL here. And of course, we all know what happened with IPL 6 and that going downhill. So, so I was doing that entire thing while I was doing the show here. And then from there, getting a chance to work with Riot and Blizzard and Valve, and start to work with a whole bunch of esports stuff after that.
So what are you doing currently? I know that you've had many different jobs. What is your current job in the esports community?
So right now, I am still a community admin for the CSL, for the Collegiate Star League. I am a head admin for SoCal Esports, which is a huge sort of community thing here for Southern California, doing a lot of pub stomps and bar crafts and stuff like that, all kinds of community events. I also do some work with On Gamers as well as Riot, and doing statistics and game analysis and things like that. And then I also own Call Gaming, which is in the amateur esports team. We have one StarCraft 2 player, we have a couple of Hearthstone players, and our League of Legends team is in flux right now. We're kind of going through players and trying to work that out. So yeah, I mean, we're moving forward with that.
How is that all determined? I know that. How do you pick your players, and if someone wants to try out or be on the team?
So yeah, it's all scouting, right? So you think of it like the NFL, the NBA. You're looking at amateur games. You're going into solo queue. For League of Legends in particular, we'll use that example. You're looking at these players in solo queue. You're watching Bjergsen's stream, seeing, okay, this guy's unknown. He's not signed to a team. He's interesting to me, right? And you start to watch his games more. You start to watch games that he's in. Does he surprise you? What's he doing? What's his gameplay style like? And you're building it from there. Does he fit the style of team that you want to play? Is he interested in even joining Call Gaming in the first place? I mean, it's all the things you have to go into for the factor.
Right. I know you guys have had games already. How have you guys been doing?
So we placed top 4 in the Razor tournament. Nice. In the last 2 Razor tournaments. We just missed out on the Coke Challenger League, the Coke Zero Challenger League, just because of the monster that is LMQ. And so that's a little bit disappointing. And so right now, with the roster currently in flux as it is, we're not sure where we're headed right now. But we're still looking for more players and to see if we can shift the roster around a little bit more.
Right. If someone wanted to watch your guys' games, how would they go?
Yeah, so we have a lot of VODs on YouTube. So youtube.com/user/callgamingteam is all on there. We have a couple of VODs. Also on my channel as well. So youtube.com/user Esports KidLiquid. That one will have a lot of the older VODs from other teams that we have. We've probably had about 2 or 3 different roster rotations that we've been talking
Right, so you're not settled?
No, not yet. Not yet. We don't have, we're sort of like the XDG or CLG of amateur esports right now, trying to shift the roster around, see what's going on.
Right. What are the perks of being a manager of a team?
I think the camaraderie of it, and for me, understanding it as a player perspective, since I was a player for a couple of different organizations, having that mindset of knowing what a player goes through, and being a manager, being able to take that burden off of the players, having to deal with sponsorships, having to deal with all this kind of stuff, just really lets them be free to practice. And so helping them succeed is something that I really look forward to, and also building kind of this family dynamic where you are sort of this father figure trying to help these guys move forward in their careers and get them going, and so that's a lot of fun.
Right. I know you said that you work for the Collegiate Star League. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the Collegiate Star League is the #1 collegiate esports organization in the world.
Right.
And I can't say the world because we did do an international.
Yeah.
We did do an international event where we brought in a lot of different different colleges from different countries. But so we have a large number of schools that compete in StarCraft 2, Dota 2, and League of Legends. So StarCraft 2 we've been doing for about 7 seasons now. League of Legends, this is our second time doing it, and then Dota 2, this is our entry-level season. So we're getting our feet wet there a little bit and seeing where it goes. And we've been doing a lot of Hearthstone tournaments lately, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get into Heroes of the Storm eventually.
Nice.
Once that's launched.
Right.
But yeah, we have a lot of fun. We don't have a really competitive aspect with Ivy Lol or with any of the other organizations, like people do assume. But we do a good job of working together to coexist, and there's always that friendly rivalry there, but we do have a lot of fun.
So esports is this growing community. Where do you see it going in the future?
So yeah, that's always the big question of where we headed, and we saw it sort of ramp up to this in the mid-2000s, around 2006, 2007, before League hit, before StarCraft 2, before any of these games that are big right now came out. And it was mainly carried by the FPS scene and the fighting game scene. And of course you had Brood War. You had the original StarCraft Brood War in the mix as well as sort of the flagship, sort of high skill gap game. But I think we tried to make it too commercial, like the commercial success of an MLG, right? So you had Super Smash Bros. Doing really well. I think Melee was the main game at the time. You had Street Fighter, and you had all these older games coming out. The problem back then was that the games weren't visually appealing enough for sponsors to grab on. So like a game from 1998, so you look at StarCraft Brood War, 1998, it has the fan base, it has the strategy, it has all the depth, it has the level of skill and required this built-in community, but what sponsor is going to sponsor something that looks like it's from 1998?
Yeah, exactly.
And when it's 2008 and we had the Halo and things like that coming out. So the big problem there was the graphical issues and things like that. And the market kind of crashed. And so now that the games are up to standard, we're ramping up towards that area again. I think we've already surpassed it. We saw what League of Legends did with the World Finals with Stable Centers, incredible. We saw what the International did at TI3. And so you're starting to see these huge events, these monstrous events that are really attracting a lot of national attention outside of a gaming market. And so the next logical step that people are saying is a television model. But to be completely honest, in my opinion, the television model doesn't work. The television model, to me, defeats the purpose or the freedom that we've had as a community that we really enjoy. When you think about Twitch TV, you think about what Twitch has been able to do, giving you the full access to be able to see whatever you want, whatever kind of content you wanted. I can go on Twitch right now and make a show for an hour and a half. I don't need to ask my TV sponsor to say, hey, can I have an hour and a half to do something? And also the interaction. So I can go on and I can automatically connect with my fans face-to-face or as close as to face-to-face as possible with the chat on the side to be able to talk to them whenever I wanted to. So I think that's something at a level of control that the television format takes away. And I think if we don't do it correctly, so it would have to be a very entry-level thing for people to really get interested. I think League is very interesting to watch. I think StarCraft 2 is very interesting to watch. I think Dota 2 is interesting to watch. But you have to describe it in a way that people are going to understand. You can't just throw a week of the LCS on TV and expect people to get views. It has to go through the right formats. Right.
So do you think that we are only moving forward, or do you think by the time we get to a certain point it'll just go?
I think we're in a good place right now to level off. I think right now would be the safe place to level off and sort of take it slow and go from here. I think we're at a good point where people are making money. We're getting good enough profit flow to sort of sustain this for a while, and so you don't want to keep pushing forward without that strong basis of understanding where you are. And so if we don't understand as a community where we are right now with how fast we're moving, I would be afraid to move even faster forward and get even bigger numbers to have it all crashing down later on.
Right. Where do you see yourself in the growing community? Like later on in the future, where do you see your career going?
I would hope the same place. I would hope to just kind of stay here. I never did esports for money or for a career or anything like that. I did it because I enjoyed it. And so I remember back when I first started doing stuff and I wanted to put on LAN, right? You'd work all weekend, or you do all kinds of stuff. You win tournaments to make maybe $500, and you put on the LAN. And if you lost $50 on the LAN, you were excited because you only lost $50, right? And so, but you had a fun weekend. You put on an event for your friends, or you put on an event for the city of Los Angeles for gamers everywhere that wanted to play, and you just had a great time. And so that was what the original thing was, the reason I got into it. And so now that I've been able to turn it into a career, as much as I enjoy it, I feel like the community sort of loses that passion. We have a lot of people involved right now that are in it for the fame, for the glory, for the money.
Right.
And I don't feel like that's the right way to get into it. I think that, it's the same thing with the NFL, with football, or the NFL, the NBA, or anything like that. Once a player loses, or once a manager or anything loses the passion to really continue, or the love of what they're doing, I think it sort of loses the integrity a little bit of the industry.
Right. Do you think that never mind. Let's move back a little bit. Do you have any suggestions for anyone that want to get into the gaming community?
Just get involved. I know that's such a cliche thing for all esports people say that. You have to get involved and make a spot for yourself.
Right.
But it's honestly the most true thing. I got involved because I just love the community. And that was when Team Liquid was coming out.
Right.
And so, jumping in there and saying, hey, I'm really active in the community. I think I had over 1,000 posts within like a month or two. And so I was just constantly on that forum. And so they eventually asked, hey, do you want to be a moderator? And going from there, yeah, of course I want to be a moderator.
Right.
And so, that's how I got involved with it. And so, just getting involved, get your name out there, getting people to understand that, hey, I'm passionate about this, please give me a chance. Or even, making a company yourself, like making Call Gaming, going out and doing something else that people haven't thought of, or making something that you wanted to make, things like that. If you want to be the head of a gaming team, go for it. Make a gaming team and figure it out from there. Give it a shot.
Yeah, so would you say like a good place to start would be probably your college? You just go to the esports.
Collegiate Star League and Ivy League, we both make it really easy. You can start an esports club at your school. It requires 15 people for most colleges on campus.
Right.
And just, a faculty advisor that really doesn't need to do anything. They should sign a piece of paper that says they can sponsor an esports or StarCraft or a League of Legends club.
Right, and then they'll just register for
and then they just register for the CSL.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
So it makes it as easy as possible. You can do it with your friends. You can do it with people that play League at your community.
Right.
And it makes it easier to meet people that play League of Legends in your community, or StarCraft 2 or Dota 2 or whatever you play.
So thank you so much for being here today, Chris. Are there any shout-outs or plugs that you would like to add?
No, just follow me on Twitter. So twitter.com/KidLiquid. I'm always looking for help, always looking for someone to get involved. If you really do want to get involved, go ahead and shoot me a tweet, and I'd be more than happy to help you out or see if I had anything to offer with Call Gaming or whatever it is.
Perfect. And thank you so much for listening to Game Over, a look inside the gamer's mind. Stay